ladies, thank you again for coming to Elgin for your wonderful Read to Me program, Lee Conmigo. This was a fantastic class we had tonight. The parents and the kids were so engaged. Let's talk a little bit about what we did.
Okay. So the first thing that we did, we talked about self-regulation. And self-regulation is the ability to monitor your behavior, your feelings, so that way you can accept no for an answer, you can slow things down. And we learned about how self-regulation can be taught through children's literature.
And we also did poetry and focusing on the importance of repetition and repeated reading to facilitate picking up vocabulary words. And in today's session, we focus on vocabulary related to winter and actually getting dressed and preparing to go outdoors. It was a pleasure to see the parents working with young children. They were very organized and there was just lots of fun.
So the parents had a chance to interact with the children in creating a Christmas tree that we donated to the library, but the activity was based on the book A Piñata in a Pine Tree by Pat Mora, and the parents were guiding the children through in their self-regulation. It was interesting to see how the children were reacting to the parents' guidance because they wanted to mix the paint, they wanted to use the glue, and the parents seemed very calm in providing that guidance. And so we were able to create this, they were able to create this wonderful Christmas tree. Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? ¿Cómo están todos esta noche? A little cold, un poquito de frío, but all that is good. Okay, so this is our third time, our third lesson, our third workshop. Es la tercera vez que nos vamos a juntar. Do y'all remember what are some of the things, some of the skills that teachers, kindergarten teachers expect for children? So when your children, a lot of them are going to start kinder next year. Sus niños van a empezar el kindergarten el próximo año. What are the skills, some of the things that teachers expect? Very good, that they can go to the restroom by themselves. What else? Follow directions, handle school supplies, and name them, right? They have to name them. What else?
Be independent.
Be independent. Do they need to know how to count? Yeah, they need to learn to at least 20. Do they need to know the letters, shapes, their name, and their colors, right? To spell their name, right. They need to know how to write their first name, and if they know how to write their last name, that is terrific. Tienen que... It's... But if they start practicing the letters of their first name, then they're gonna be excited about, you know, their last name. And so this is the time to get them excited about letters, right? And letters are not, if you follow only the ABCs, it's gonna be so structured that they're gonna get bored. So they just have to be excited about having a lot of letters in their last name. How exciting is that, right? So you always put that positive part. Siempre tienen que poner lo positivo. Si su nombre está muy largo porque tiene muchas letras, ¡qué bonito! Tiene muchas letras. Siempre lo positivo. ¿Para qué? Para que ellos estén emocionados y motivados también. So what we're going to do this evening, we're going to focus on two specific things. Nos vamos a enfocar en dos objetivos. El primero es cómo es que los niños se deben de regular ellos mismos. So the first objective is how do children self-regulate. Self-regulation is very important for kindergarten. Many times, if children don't know how to self-regulate, that's when they get in trouble. Regulate means that you teach yourself certain skills to wait, right? And so that things are going to happen, and so you regulate yourself. So if somebody tells you, I'm going to be there at 7 o'clock. And you get mad because like, oh, it's already 7. Where are they? That's not having self-regulation. You can't regulate your emotions. Like, treat your emotions in a way that are going to prevent certain behaviors and certain feelings, right, that are negative, right? And I say negative because getting upset is not necessarily something negative, right? Is what you do with that becomes negative, because we all get upset. So children need to know how to self-regulate. Tienen que saber cómo regular sus emociones. And then the second one is phonological awareness. And phonological awareness has to do with the sounds of the language, right? If children know the sounds of the language, they need to know the sounds of the language before they can do something with the language, with the letters, etc. If they can't hear the sounds of the language, then they're going to have difficulties reading. Okay? And Mary Esther is going to talk a little bit more about that. And so what I wanted to share with you today is self-regulation. Quiero hablar un poquito acerca de cómo le podemos ayudar a nuestros niños a regular esos sentimientos, ¿verdad? And let me give you an example. So when you go to a store and one of your children wants something and you say no, what do? They cry? Or beg for it? Sometimes, not all the time, right? What else can they do? So cry, beg. Keep asking and asking and asking and asking until, or? Exactly, right? And sometimes they forget about it, but not all the time. Usually not all the time. Does it matter the age? Yes? Okay, we have a yes and we have a no. So, así, o sea, tiene que ver la edad dependiendo lo que estén pidiendo.
I have 2 daughters, so the little one, when I said no, she's okay with it. Like, she's like, oh, mommy, yeah, maybe you can buy me that later or another day. But the big one, she's 9, and she's like, can I have it? Can I have it? Can I have it? Please buy it. And I already said no, because I give her a reason. She's keep pushing.
Keep asking. And how old is the little one?
4.
4.
And the big one is 9.
Okay. Okay. How about yours?
3579.
3579. Okay. Which one is the one that seems to have a little bit more difficulty in taking no for an answer? The 3-year-old? Depending on the parent. And their personality. So there's like all of these things that affect, right? So there's all of these things. Hay todas estas cosas que afectan los papás, la edad, dónde están, right? So it depends, because you can be, I remember when my kids were little, it was, if you go to Target with the youngest one, even now, he's 10. Mom, I'm just going to go look. Nada más voy a ir a ver. Miguel. No, Miguel. No. With his daddy, well, let's go see. And don't tell Armando. But it depends. And so one of the very important things that I want to share with you is that when you have young children, 0 to 5, children are going to develop differently, right? They go through milestones, they go through stages, and sometimes we just have to take a deep breath, right? And it is our job as parents to guide them, right? And I confess to you, yep, sometimes you give in because you don't want to have to, look at the tantrum or the rolling of the eyes or what have you. But as parents, we also have to regulate our own decisions, because if we always give in, then we are not helping them in their development. So there's an app if you are interested, and the app is by the Center for Disease Control, believe it or not, is the CDC. If you just go to your app store, and it's free, you're going to see that it's called CDC Milestone Tracker. Es un app que les va a enseñar una lista de comportamientos que los niños deben de tener a cierta edad. And so you have some handouts right there. Están en inglés y en español. And it's right there. It's for Apple and it's for Android. And I tried to download it, and I did, pero el énfasis es en niños de 0 a 5 años de edad. And so the emphasis in children 0 to 5. So I don't have a 5-year-old. My youngest is 10. And so I had to make it up so that way I can get in there. Pero, but you write your child's name, their birth date. They don't store any important information, and so you can just put your child's first name, so there's no way for them to track it. But it helps you follow their development. Les ayuda a seguir su desarrollo. And so one of the things that I like is that it's divided by developmental areas. Mm-hmm. So physical, cognitive, linguistic, and social emotional. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so if you can keep track of the kinds of things that your children are doing, it tells you how they're developing. O sea, pueden poner la información acerca de cómo los niños se están desarrollando, y ustedes pueden ver en esa app cómo los niños se están desarrollando y si están siguiendo lo que deben de hacer. And so it's a really good, I like the app. It's very simple to use. You have it on your phone. I mean, the people really that you need help, to help you are either if your children go to daycare, they're teachers, and when they start going to school, they're public school teachers or private school teachers, but also your pediatrician. And so las personas que les deben de estar ayudando acerca del desarrollo son las maestras, los pediatras, y luego cuando empiecen en la escuela pública o en la escuela privada, las maestras también. But this gives you a really good sense of, okay, my child is doing okay. They're not, they're advancing socially, emotionally, they're doing fine. And if there's some type of concern, then you can see, okay, well, what is that concern that I have? So that way I know how to help my child. Mm-hmm.
Who decides that at this age your child should be working towards?
Mm-hmm. That's a very good question. So on these right here, it's the CDC, but they base it on the American Pediatrics, okay? And so you can also go to the American Pediatrics website and see what they have, okay? So another way to teach self-regulation is, of course, you're going to know this through books. Una manera de que los niños aprendan a autorregulación es por medio de los libros. So I have 2 books right here. And I selected these books because I just like them. I like them, but I like the fact that they have a repetitive pattern, tienen un patrón repetitivo, and they're like poetry. Son como tipo estilo poemas, ¿verdad? And so the first one is called and it's bilingual. This one is bilingual, and this one, it's interesting because it's English with Spanish words. So it's not completely bilingual, but we'll go over it in just a little bit. Okay, I'm going fast because I know we don't have that much time. But you don't have to celebrate Christmas to read these books. No tienen que celebrar la Navidad para leer estos libros, pero hay libros que tienen el mismo patrón. There are other books that follow the same pattern. So right now, during this time of the year, you're going to see a lot of books that have that Christmas, el tema, el theme. But there's others that I sent Jamie a list of recommended books that just talk about maybe the weather. O sea, hay otros libros que solamente hablan acerca del clima, del tiempo, and they have a repetitive pattern. Y tienen ese patrón repetitivo. So let me read to you this one very quickly, and then you're going to tell me how you think this book teaches self-regulation. And we're all okay with self-regulation, right? So that means you have to wait until I finish reading the book. Okay. The Christmas tree, el árbol de Navidad. Daddy brought a Christmas tree. Papá trajo un árbol de Navidad. Grandma lights a candle. Abuela enciende una vela. Look at the beautiful Christmas tree with the bright candle Grandma lit. Qué lindo el árbol de Navidad adornado con la vela que encendió la abuela. Grandpa hangs a candy cane. Abuelo cuelga un caramelo. Look at the beautiful Christmas tree with the bright candle Grandma lit and the candy cane Grandpa hung. Qué lindo el árbol de Navidad adornado con la vela que encendió la abuela y con el caramelo que le colgó abuelo. Uncle Irineo painted a sleigh. Tío Irineo pintó un trineo. Look at the beautiful Christmas tree with the bright candle Grandma lit, the candy cane Grandpa hung, and the sleigh Uncle Irineo painted. Qué lindo el árbol de Navidad adornado con la vela que encendió la abuela, con el caramelo que le colgó abuelo y con el trineo de tío Irineo. My brother Alfonso carved a deer. Mi hermano Alfonsito talló un venadito. Look at the beautiful Christmas tree with the bright candle Grandma lit, the candy cane Grandpa hung, the sleigh Uncle Irineo painted, and the deer Alfonso carved. Qué lindo el árbol de Navidad adornado con la vela que encendió la abuela, con el caramelo que le colgó abuelo, con el trineo de tío Irineo y con el venadito que talló Alfonsito. Aunt Mireya brings the star. Tía Mireya trae la estrella. Look at the beautiful Christmas tree with the bright candle Grandma lit, the candy cane Grandpa hung, the sleigh Uncle Irineo painted, the deer Alfonso carved, and the star Aunt Mireya brought. Qué lindo el árbol de Navidad adornado con la vela que encendió abuela, con el caramelo que colgó abuelo, con el trineo de tío Irineo, con el venadito que talló Alfonsito y con la estrella de la tía Mireya. Mommy's calling us. Let's go and sing. We're all so happy Christmas is here. Mamá nos llama, vamos a cantar. ¡Qué felicidad! Llegó Navidad. So, how does this book teach self-regulation? Dun, dun, dun. Because you have to get through the book. Very good. Okay, that's it. It's over. Tienes que esperarte a terminar el libro, right? You have to wait to go through the book. Do you always have to go through the whole book? No, you can walk through the book, right? Or you can read a couple of pages. We can't force children to sit down and read the book, but we can teach them to be excited and to wait, right? Now, what is another skill within self-regulation that they can learn? The repetition, that's right, because that repeating is also part of self-regulation, right? Now think about this. How many times do you have to repeat to your child that you can't buy something for them one day, that they have to wait till later. So they're understanding the meaning of repetition. We take it for granted. We think that they understand what repetition is. But they're so little that they don't know. Then we get frustrated, they get frustrated, and then the book gets put away. So repetition is very important. And we're talking about meaningful repetition, ¿verdad? Tenemos que repetir las cosas y el concepto de repetir, los niños no lo entienden todavía. Nosotros se los tenemos que enseñar. A veces tenemos que repetir las cosas varias veces para que ellos puedan entender y les tenemos que enseñar. The other book, yes? Do you want me to read it or should walk through it? Okay, we'll walk through it. So the other book is called A Piñata in a Pine Tree. And you have a handout, which is in the back of the book, that tells you what those words mean. And so it's a Latino 12 days of Christmas. And so there's several things going on here in this book. One, at the very beginning, it uses the word amiga. Do y'all know what amiga means? Look in your list. Look at your list. What's amiga? Friend. What's a friend? Amiga. What's a friend?
Someone you like, someone you hang out with a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Not so much, but you like. Okay. What else is a friend? Do y'all have friends? I have a friend. And Jamie. Someone you care about. Do you have to exercise self-regulation with your friends? Everybody said yes. Why?
Consider others as more important than yourself. It takes waiting.
But when you're 3, I want to play with that. He doesn't want to give it to me. It's not my best friend anymore. And they come and they tell you and they repeat over and over, right? I mean, I had my kids that would come and say, I don't have a best friend anymore. They're playing with someone else. Oh. How dare they? They're playing with someone else, right? But friendship is a social skill that children learn gradually. And they have to learn what a friend is by experiencing it. And they have to learn to know how to self-regulate to be able to do that. So when you look through this book, it says, on the first day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me. Sometimes friends gives you things, but sometimes friends take things away from you, right? Sorry. A piñata in a pine tree. So the concept of amiga is very loaded because amiga is in Spanish. So you're teaching also your children to value another language, right? And so it's the concept of friends, but it's the concept of valuing someone else that may be different than you, right? On the second day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 2 pastelitos and a piñata in a pine tree. What's pastelitos? Cake, little cakes or cupcakes, right? On the 4th day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 4 luminarias. Y'all know what luminarias are? This right here. How do you translate luminarias?
Paper lanterns.
Paper lanterns. Now, luminarias can look different ways, okay? And so on and so forth. When the kids come, we're going to recite the book all together, but before, they're going to make an ornament that resembles those 12 days of each item that happens on the 12 days. And then we're going to put it on that tree and my husband made. He got like creative yesterday. And so we're going to make the tree, we're going to put the ornaments, and we're going to leave it here in the library, because in the library we have friends, right? And we learn lots of things, and we need to self-regulate, right, in the library. So now I am going to turn it over to Mary Esther. All right.
You do have a handout on choosing poems. And it kind of looks like this. So today, Dr. Cortez, Mari, has been talking to us about repetition and rhyming words. Mm-hmm. So when little bitty kids, like the one playing at the corner there, is listening to mommy and daddy's tone of voice, the rate of speech, the tonality that goes up and down, that's called the pitch, and all these different ways of using our voice is represented when we read a book, when we say read it with expression. Because of repetition over time, children begin to understand, oh, this is very important because mother's voice sounds very stern. Oh, mother is so happy today, she's singing, and dad, boy, he's happy. He said hello and he picked me up, and I can just remember that voice over and over again. So kids, the first thing that they're trying to make sense in the world when they come is making sense of the sounds that they hear. And they're using all their senses to make sense of the new world. So for the child in the corner right now working, there's so many things that she is discovering for the first time. Perhaps we won't know that. Maybe she has never played with those building blocks that are so soft and that the texture is so smooth. So we just never know the first time for little children 0 to 5 years old. And actually we say that early childhood is all the way to 3rd grade. So remember that they are learning every day about the world, and yes, school is part of it, but it's not the only indicator that they're learning about their world. So in your handout, I won't read it to you, but the handout does say why you should focus on reading poetry over and over again. The research shows that the more the children read familiar text, the more they can actually make the words part of their own vocabulary. And so in the handout we have poetry that should be appropriate for young children. And we have some things that are listed there, such as rhyming, familiar words, predictable patterns. And at the bottom of your sheet, you also have the same ideas, only in Spanish. And what I'm going to model today for you is the second part of that handout, where it says, act out the poem, actuar el poema, leer en voz alta, memorizar poemas cortas, ilustrar el poema. So we have a journal that we have given each family, and it's okay to read a poem and ask the children, okay, we've read it a couple of times, what does that make you feel like? Or can you draw something connected to what we just read? So if we look at, let's start with our first one, which is, as you open the page, it's about a gingerbread. So here I have, Jamie provided 5 gingerbread just for my presentation. Thank you, Jamie. 5 yummy gingerbread sitting on a plate. The first one said, boy, we smell great. The second one says, oh, there's a chill in the air. And the third one said, I see hungry children everywhere. The fourth one said, I think we better run. The fifth one said, here the children come. Then the children each grabbed one, and with a munch, crunch, munch, the 5 little gingerbread were now all lunch. You can act it out with any of the action words to entice and entertain the children and to be excited about hearing it again and over again. On the very last page, I'm sorry, the third page in Spanish, el invierno. The first one is called la nieve. Nieve is snow. And you can leave that out because it really doesn't snow unless it snows in Elgin. Could be. Once in a while it snows in San Antonio. But if you have a repeated text that's just 3 short lines. El frío llegó, gorro y bufanda me pongo yo. Can you say that on the way out? As you're getting ready and putting on your coats and putting on scarves? Mother can or father can just memorize that and say, el frío llegó, gorro y bufanda me pongo yo. These are things that come natural and are easy, and it's interaction with your child and giving them that vocabulary specific to the season. And we can find perfect poems, for example, in the books that Jamie has prepared for us as well. These are just examples that we have in English and Spanish. Then there's hilarious ones like the snowball. I made myself a snowball as perfect as could be. I thought I'd keep it as a pet and let it sleep with me. I made it some pajamas and a pillow for its head. Then last night it ran away, but first it wet the bed. In your journal, can you draw me your snowman for just, let's take 30 seconds. In your journal, can you draw your own snowman? I made myself a snowman as perfect as can be. I thought I'd keep it as a pet and let it sleep with me. I made it some pajamas and a pillow for its head. Then last night it ran away, but first it wet the bed. What does the poem make you think of when you think about a snowman or a snowball or 3 snowballs or multiple snowballs to create a snowman? So the poem is really snowball, right? And how many people drew a snowman? Yeah?
That's what I was like, I thought it was a
Right. Why do you think that we all drew a snowman? Because I did suggest it. And it's like, right? It's just that we're so ingrained that the image of winter is, and that's okay, right? Because we can technically say 3 snowballs. Okay, Dr. Cortez. We're going to now introduce the next activity, and it'll be more of working with children on ideas of getting ready for the winter. And is there anyone that does not celebrate Christmas in one way or another? Okay, we have a traditional tree here that is representative of our season.
So one of the one important thing is that you can do all different kinds of things recycling, right? And so when I spoke with Jamie early on when we were planning these parents meetings, we wanted to make sure that we could use things that we find around. And so in this particular lesson, and using a piñata in a pine tree, we can actually do something fun with the kids and using what some call loose parts. And loose parts, and we just don't have the time to go through it, but loose parts can be anything, can be rocks, little pebbles. Of course, depending on the age of the child, you don't want them to be too little that they will be putting them in their mouth, or like my son in his ear. or up their nose, or things like that. It could be anything, buttons. It could be those little foam letters. It could just be glitter, things like that. So yesterday my husband went, and I told him, I said, I need just a big box to make a Christmas tree, because we're reading a piñata in a pine tree. So that was nice. And so what we're going to do is another way to have other things that are loose parts are those pine needles from the Christmas tree. And this is from our Christmas tree. And it was just outside. So I go, oh, okay. One of the things that we can just give it that real feeling is we'll just cut the pine needles. We're going to put some glue, and we're going to let the kids do that. Can we exercise self-regulation? Maybe. So by doing these kinds of activities, you teach your children to self-regulate. Because there's some kids that can come and they're going to go like this, squeezing the bottle. And so you teach them, right? Because if they do that at school, what do you think is going to happen? The teacher may not be that happy with it, but we know that it's developmental. So it's going to take a while for them to understand, but they need guidance. And that's when you and I come in, right? If we don't guide them, then they're not going to know. So once they come in, we have some scissors there, and then we have glue, and we have the sponge brushes. And so we're going to have them, they can cut. Oh, Jamie, we're going to make a little bit of a mess. Is that okay? Okay. It's like, all right, mess. And so that's one thing. The other thing that we're going to do, okay, before we get into any of this, once the children come in, I'm going to read A Piñata in a Pine Tree, so that way they know what we're talking about. Then, so we have all the materials here, and then we're going to make the ornaments out of aluminum foil. And so we have, I made examples or stencils actually of the items in the book. And so you can just get one, have your child decide which one they want to do. You're going to get some aluminum foil, you trace it, cut it, paint it. I don't know how much time we're going to have to make them, but make at least 2. I think that's, we'll have enough time to do that. And one, your family is going to donate it to this tree, which is going to stay here in the library. And then the other one, you take it home to decorate your own tree. And then that way you can be talking about it. All right? All right, so first we're going to read, and then we're going to do some decorating, okay? And I'm going to ask you to join me in reading. Do we have everybody? Yeah? Okay, everybody, can I have your attention? Clap once if you can hear my voice. Eyes on me. All right. Find a chair, put everything down, and I'm going to read you a book that's called A Piñata in a Pine Tree by Pat Mora and Magali Morales. And this is like the 12 Days of Christmas. Do y'all know the 12 Days of Christmas? On the first day of Christmas, that song? Yeah, you know it? Okay, so this is a little bit different. And I want you to pay attention because you are going to be doing 2 things. One, we're going to put some of these pine needles on the tree because it's a pine tree. And 2, we're going to be making some ornaments because what do you put on the Christmas tree? Ornaments. All right. On the first day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me a piñata in a pine tree. On the second day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 2 pastelitos, a piñata in a pine tree. On the third day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, and a piñata in a pine tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 4 luminarias, 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, and a piñata in a pine tree. On the 5th day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 5 guitarritas, 4 luminarias, 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, and a piñata in a pine tree. On the 6th day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 6 trompos girando, 5 guitarritas, 4 luminarias, 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, and a piñata in a pine tree. On the 7th day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 7 burritos bailando, 6 trompos girando, 5 guitarritas, 4 luminarias, 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, and a piñata in a pine tree. On the 8th day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 8 pajaritos, 7 burritos bailando, 6 trompos girando, 5 guitarritas, 4 luminarias, 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, and a piñata in a pine tree. On the 9th day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 9 campanitas, 8 pajaritos, 7 burritos bailando, 6 trompos girando, 5 guitarritas, 4 luminarias, 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, and a piñata in a pine tree. On the 10th day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 10 estrellitas saltando, 9 campanitas sonando, 8 pajaritos serenando, 7 burritos bailando, 6 trompos girando, 5 guitarritas, 4 luminarias, 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, en la piñata. On the 11th day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 11 lunitas cantando, 10 estrellitas saltando, 9 campanitas sonando, 8 pajaritos serenando, 7 burritos bailando, 6 trompos girando, 5 guitarritas, 4 luminarias, 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, and a piñata in a pine tree. The last one. On the 12th day of Christmas, my amiga gave to me 12 angelitos celebrando, 11 lunitas cantando, 10 estrellitas saltando, 9 campanitas sonando, 8 pajaritos serenando, 7 burritos bailando, 6 trompos girando, 5 guitarritas, 4 luminarias, 3 tamalitos, 2 pastelitos, en a piñata in a pine tree. Yay! Thank you. All right. So, everybody has scissors. Parents, help your children with the materials. I'm going to leave it here, and you guys come up. And first, we're going to decorate the tree with the pine needles. We have some glue. And then, here are some of the stencils for the ornaments, okay? The foil, yeah. And just, yeah. So if y'all want to get up and, yeah. Yeah, y'all can just get, first you get, and then just cut them, and you may want to just, and then just put it like in front of you, and then come and put a little bit of glue and put some of the needles on it. Here, you can take some. And y'all can share, we have enough for everybody. Okay? So you're going to cut some of the needles, you're going to put glue, and then you put some of the needles there. And here are the stencils for... I know, I'll go put them over there. Sí, ajá. ¿Ves cómo lo están poniendo? ¿Tú lo quieres poner? Sí, mira, vas a usar el... Ábrelo, mi cielo, ábrelo para que pueda salir. Okay, now put this over here.
grab some pens and bring them over. Y'all have fun in there?
Yeah, we have fun trail ride.
What are those? You can make your own ornaments. Yeah,
Is this the piñata?
That's the piñata. So when you're done, you can come. You have some aluminum foil, and we have some stencils over here that you can trace and make your ornament. You can come and choose one or two, and you just trace it, and you cut it, and then you're gonna paint it.
You only get 2?
You can make more, but for now you make 2. Okay.
Start with 2.
Yeah, you can start with 2, and then you can come back and get some other ones, because there's 12 different things.
This
Right?
is a tamale, right?
That's the tres tamalitos, right?
Just to make it good for you. I like the
Because she
pajaritos.
makes the tamales not like the ones that we're used to here. They make it with banana,
Yes,
right? And so they're
I've
like
seen
nicely
them.
wrapped. And I go, okay, that's gonna be a little too hard, so I'll just make it like that.
That would have made like a square.
Exactly, a square.
Okay, now what is it?
All right. ¿Cuál te gusta? El burrito, el pajarito, el trompo.
Get a pen so we can trade.
¿Cuál
And
te
then when you're
gusta?
ready, I can come by and punch you.
¿Cuál quieres, Ento? Mira, ¿quieres la piñata o quieres el pastelito? ¿Qué quieres? Llévate el burrito. O otro. Y el angelito. Ven.
Oh, yeah, el angelito.
Ven, estos dos.
Ajá. Oh, un pastel. Okay. You got it, is it cut out? You need me to punch it for you?
I'm going right here, baby girl. Calm down. Wanna make a little cake? Yeah. And you want to pick something, Mary Jo? You want to hit the bell? Okay. Come on.
On the tree, just like the books.
Good.
Your scissors, there's more over here. And yeah, scissors. Yeah, we have scissors.
Thank you. Okay.
And the great thing about books like this one is that you can come up with your own items. They don't have to be what the author has. It can be whatever it is that you have at home. Whatever it is. That's right. Anything is possible. Anything that will reflect your family. That's the most important thing.
Let's see if we can figure that out.
Qué bonito angelito.
You can cut yourself. Look, see, you're falling down. Sit upright, baby.
There you go. Now take this. Be careful. You know what? I don't think this worked. Let me get you some. Did you get them from the box? Because I tried those and they didn't work. Let me get you some other ones. Some other ones. Very nice. Let's see if these work. Here, let's see if those work, because I don't think this worked.
Hold them. Put your fingers on.
There you go.
But this is great. I mean, I'm just observing how every family works with their children.
It's a pink angel. She painted it, but I think her sister cut it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
Aldo wanted to blend all his colors and
Oh, he did?
y el niño is, he's got his own idea. He didn't want to put glue on the cardboard. He wanted to put it right on the pine. And then here he's being very, very.
Look, he is. Look, he's mixing.
Aldo was
He's mixing. And he was too. Yeah. They had their own ideas about how they wanted to.
I think that
The glue is not gonna work.
what?
The glue is not gonna work.
It's not gonna work on.
¿Ya lo colgaste? Oh, ese. Okay, let's try. Let's put. Okay, vamos a poner un poquito acá.
Pero mira, lo hiciste bien.
Ponemos acá.
And I just put rainbow right there.
And it'll dry up overnight.
I gave it back to somebody.
I understand that you would like to paint a little bit more, but we have enough paint on there, and when it dries, then we could even cut it out and make another decoration. Yeah, I think that's a beautiful one. Look at this.
Look at that.
Look at that guitar.
Oh, the pink guitar. That is terrific.
Let it dry. There you go. Wow. Oh, well done. Okay, what kind of you got right here to dry?
It's all, this one is already dry. It's already dry,
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, right? You're almost done. This looks terrific, Miss Jamie. Y'all can go ahead and.
So excited to put the tree up in the library. It's going to be a wonderful addition.
And so every time you come to the library and you look at the tree, you're gonna remember what you did today. And that you help your library look just even more beautiful.
It'll come off with soap, but this is just a wet towel, but it'll help a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you use
And we have some extra pine needles here if somebody wants to take them and create your own tree. You can definitely do that.
We can just tie it in one of those.
Yes, right. Here. What do you want, green string? You want a red string?
Okay, and I just want to thank you one more time for coming tonight and for sharing all of your knowledge and your enthusiasm with the parents of our community. We just want to remind you that this is a program that has been promoted by the Texas Library and Archives Commission and is made possible through a very generous grant. We do have links below that you can access the resources that we used in class. So if you'd like to follow along with us, just click on the link below and open those up and use those as you listen to the cast tonight. Thank you again and have a wonderful evening.
See you next time.